Hey, it's Laura here, and I was just in the shower doing some thinking. I often think in the shower, and I realized there's been a lot of people asking me about my infusion set and continuous glucose monitoring system and all that good stuff. So I thought, well, I've got to change my infusion set today anyway. Why not just show you? Everybody can see. It's sorry about the traffic. It's kind of loud. I've got the windows open. It's a beautiful August day here in Boston, but so I am going to walk you through what I do. This is, I'm using a Medtronic system and, getting ready to switch insulin pumps, but, for no fault of Medtronic's, it's time for a change. This is my very last Medtronic infusion set change, so you're part of it. Anyway, here's what I need when I go to change my infusion set. To back up a little bit, I use an insulin pump. So that means that I get my insulin continuously infused throughout the day. This little gadget right here, let me get it set for you. This little gadget right here is my insulin pump. Isn't that cute? It's just like a little cell phone thing. And right here, this is where the insulin is. There's supposed to be a little cartridge, and I'm going to show you how I load that cartridge. Now, as a disclaimer, this video is not an instructional video by any means at all. I'm just talking. This is just what I do, and it works for me, so I hope you enjoy seeing a little glimpse into my life. I have to change this reservoir and my infusion set. The infusion set is the cannula, and the tubing that hooks up to this so that I can be delivered my insulin. So really, really cool stuff. I used to take insulin injections. Now I press a button. What I need on insulin infusion set change day is insulin. Ta-da! The next thing that I need is this thing. This is the reservoir. And as I showed you, this is what I put inside this little gadget. We'll get to that. But this is what holds my insulin. All right. The other thing that I need is this. I'm using the Medtronic Silhouette system, and this right here I'll be up close and personal soon. That's the needle that'll just go under my skin, all right? Alcohol swabs to make sure that I'm all nice and clean. I generally, as you can see, I usually change my infusion set after I have a shower. It's just, I don't know, it's just better that way. And not required at all by any means. I'm just a paranoid pumper, so I always like to have, a little Tegaderm that I put over the injection site to protect it, right? So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use some alcohol. Very important. Clean off my insulin top right there. Set that aside. And I am going to get my reservoir primed and ready to go. Yep, get that insulin in it. All right. So I'm just going to fill my reservoir. You can see the insulin is actually now flowing into my reservoir. It's getting all set. And I've been doing a lot of experimenting lately with my insulin doses and stuff, so I am totally not using as much insulin as I did even a week ago. So for me, I'm going to fill this reservoir maybe about half full. I'm also going to make sure that there's no bubbles in there because bubbles, nah. You don't want bubbles. So that's going to sit to the side. I'm also going to take this minute and rewind my pump. So I just resume, and then I'm gonna get it all set up here so that it says reservoir setup. And what's happening right now is this little thing that pushes the insulin out, I'm actually rewinding it so that it goes down, and when I put the cartridge in, the little reservoir there, it can fit. So just give me a second there. All right, so it is all ready to go, so I'm going to set that aside too. So now, the coolest part of the whole thing is the part that I used to be most scared about. I used to think insulin pumps were these scary things. I didn't know what they were, and I didn't ask the questions that I probably should have. I actually thought insulin pumps lived inside your body and you had to have surgery. Well, no, that's totally not the case at all. the insulin pump sits in my pocket. All that does go into my body is a very, very, very tiny cannula. I don't know if you'll even be able to see it, it's so small. And it's gonna look, I have to warn you, it's gonna look bigger because there's a little protective plastic sheath on it. So I just opened my little thing here, and what I found inside was some tubing. This will connect that reservoir to my body, and the needle. So I don't know if you can see it here, but right here, I'm not gonna take it off just yet because I have to cleanse my skin. This is the little plastic cannula, or the plastic coating thing. I'm really not technical. I don't think I've had enough coffee right now. So I'm gonna be pulling that off and then basically just insert it under. Now there's really cool little applicators that you can get so that you don't have to do it manually. I'm the kind of take charge kind of girl. I like to do it myself, so I like to feel it going under my skin. That way I know I don't know, it's just a Laura thing, I guess. But you know, most people use the applicators where you just press a button and it pops in. So it's your choice. But, all right, let's show some belly. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some more of my alcohol, and I'm thinking, I have to find a spot. Now, oh, I've got another thing to show you too. I've been using the Dexcom continuous glucose monitoring system. And this is my very first week using it. Rob and I are going through a whole bunch of changes right now. And the Dexcom is a monitor. Isn't that cute? It just, you know, you can just smack this thing anywhere. People don't see it. It looks a little haggard right now because it's been on now for, I don't know, like over a week. It's lasting so well. It's recording my blood sugars so accurately. My blood sugars show up on this little receiver. I don't know if you can see it, but you're supposed to be able to see my graph, so you can see the blood sugars. Blood sugars also go straight to my cell phone, so I think that's pretty cool. Also, another cool feature with this is that it alerts Rob. It's my decision, of course, if I opt for this, but it can alert my husband if I'm having a severe low blood sugar. That way he knows to get home here pretty quick. But thankfully we haven't had to deal with that. So, okay, back to the pump. We gotta get this baby changed. Okay, so I'm gonna get some alcohol here, and I'm going to select an area down here because I have to make sure, why I started telling you this, I've gotta make sure that my infusion set is, you know, a couple inches away from my continuous glucose monitor. If it's too close, it's gonna be telling my glucose monitor the wrong blood sugar. We don't want that. So I'm gonna go to another quadrant. Belly quadrant. There's your new term for the day. And I think I'm sorry, a little low here. A little low on the camera, but I'm doing what I can. This was all very spontaneous. Final wipe, make sure everything's nice and clean. Now, I'm ready for the needle. So all I do is I take that protective thing off. It looks like that. All right, set that aside. Oh, I'm going fancy. I'm going left-handed. And what I'm gonna do is just pull off this tape right here. All right, because then it's sticky, so it'll stick to my skin. All right, so this is Laura being left-handed, a severely right-handed girl on video. Oh goodness, this could get exciting. All right, so now I'm just gonna slip that needle just under the skin, 45-degree angle, push it forward, release, allow the tape, if you can see, to flatten out and come down. It is not going anywhere now. And so then I take the stylet, which is the needle part, and I pull it out. That is what it's so tiny. That is what got the little cannula under my skin. And so now there's nothing metal under my skin at all. It's just a plastic tube. Tiny, tiny. That's how the insulin's gonna get into me. And so what I'm doing right now is I am pulling off the backing, and I'm gonna flatten it down, make it stick. Isn't that great? Yeah, right in there. It's not coming off. Now, because I'm paranoid, I just mentioned, this is just a Laura thing. I cut a piece of Tegaderm dressing stuff in half, and I just stick it down over top of this. Just to, you know, make sure that it's a little bit more secure. So now this is ready. All I need to do now is just load my reservoir, take it off the insulin, still no bubbles. It's loaded properly. I've got enough insulin in there to last me the next 3 days. Click into place, and then I make sure that there's insulin able to flow into the tubing. There is. Get rid of this thing. Yay. All right. Now, since I rewound this, and there's a nice space for the reservoir, stick this in my pump, like so. Get it in place. And then, there's a sequence of buttons I press to make it prime. Are you connected? Yes, all these safety questions. And now I'm pressing the button, and what it's doing is filling the tubing. I have to watch very closely and make sure that the insulin is popping up through the tubing. There's no air bubbles. And then I watch, and oh, there it is. The insulin's coming out the top. So now, set my pump down, take off the nice little wrapping here, and this nice little clip. And this is very cool. That little needle right there fits. It's just like a little puzzle piece. Fits right here. Snap. I'm connected, but I'm not done yet. So now there's a tiny little bit of airspace right in here, right where the cannula is. So I'm going to fill it. Fill that cannula. I am ready to go. That took probably double the time because, here I am giving a demo. But really, insulin pumps are not scary at all. They're just something I used to live. They have totally allowed me to see that at different times of the day. I need different insulin requirements. With a needle and syringe, I could never, ever have such personalized medicine, I guess we'll call it. It's really great, fabulous invention. And to think, less than 100 years ago, we didn't even have this. Diabetics like me would not make it. So lots of advancements, and I hope that you enjoyed sort of watching what I do. And as my disclaimer, I gotta say it again, this video is not meant for instructional purposes at all. It was just meant to show you what I do as a type 1 diabetic every 3 to 4 days when I have to change my insulin infusion set using my Medtronic system, and pretty soon you'll probably see what it's like when I start using my new insulin pump. I can't wait. We get hooked up on Friday. I'm so excited. Can't wait. Anyway, hope you have a great day, and if you've got any questions at all, pop them below. I'll get right back to you. See ya. Good.